The thing she was most afraid that I would do to her, she did to me. Part 1. Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you won't miss another cheating story goes live. I am a 26-year/O engineer with a stable career. She is a 25-year/O nurse. We started dating in college and we were together for almost 7 years. This was my first relationship and her first serious relationship. We had been living together for 3 years at this point. We recently moved back to our home state after moving out of state together for a job opportunity I received after graduating. Upon moving back, she was still applying for permanent positions and took a temporary summer job at a children's summer camp that she used to attend growing up and work at in college. I have been to this camp before to visit her in the past and I have met the staff. The camp is a 4-hour drive from our new home. We have been having relationship issues for a couple years now. Small arguments here and there, but the biggest issue for me was the lack of intimacy. Once every 2 to 3 weeks is not frequent enough for a 25-year-old couple in my opinion. She has very low self-esteem and would repeatedly state that she never felt attractive and never was in the mood. I would always be the one to initiate intimacy and I would always do all the work. She was very selfish and would refuse to reciprocate intimate acts. I don't have to go into details, but I spoiled her rotten intimacy-wise. She accused me of not being attracted to her because I would always nag her to come to the gym with me and make healthier food choices. We both had gained a lot of weight in college and I was taking steps to get back in shape. She would always comment on how she didn't like the way she looked and how none of her clothes fit right. I would remind her that I love her but that I would help her and support her since she wanted to lose weight. I also wanted her to lose the weight of course, but she took that as me wanting her to change and not loving her unconditionally. I feel as though I was a great boyfriend to her and treated her very well during the course of our relationship. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. We got into arguments. I would yell and get upset with her. But I would always apologize and admit when I was wrong. I was always the partner who wanted to sit down and discuss our issues. She was just very immature and never wanted to admit her own part in our issues or put effort into changing them. One argument we had made her so upset that she went and stayed at a friend's house that night instead of talking through the issue with me. I treated her very well. I would bring her food and coffee during her long hospital shifts. I would surprise her and cook dinner for her and have wine waiting for her after she comes home from a long shift. I surprised her with a trip to Vegas one year. Took her to a magic show, ziplining, steak dinner, nice hotel. I even chartered a private helicopter to fly us over the strip. I baked heart-shaped mozzarella sticks for her and put it in a heart-shaped box and wrote "From your cheesy boyfriend" on it. I took her to an elephant sanctuary for her birthday 1 year ago. She loves elephants. I created a scavenger hunt for her on our college campus 1 year just for fun. I hid notes with riddles on them around campus that would lead to the next riddle and finally a bouquet of flowers at the end. I would bring flowers to the restaurant ahead of time on Valentine's Day and tip the waiter extra to bring them out for her. I took her to a gourmet chocolate making class one anniversary. I made her a message in a bottle and took a piece of paper and burned the edges and soaked it in coffee to make it look old. I wrote on it, "Together we can weather any storm or any wave no matter how high." I hid it in the sand near this lake and had her find it. I took her snowmobiling in Tahoe 1 year for her birthday. The list goes on. I made these gestures for her because I love her and wanted to surprise her and show her how much she means to me. She would make social media posts about how much she loves me and how she wants to spend her life with me and can't imagine being without me and how fortunate she is to have someone like me love her and treat her the way I do. She had been wanting to get married since we were in college. She has always wanted her dream wedding since she was a little girl and had been planning it for years. She had set a budget of $30,000 for the wedding and the ring she wanted was very expensive. I told her I would compromise on the ring but that we needed to be financially responsible and buy a house before committing that much money into a wedding. She would always send me pictures of rings and decorations and venues and we were serious about life together. We had our kids' names picked out and even started house shopping together after relocating. Her biggest goal in life was to be a mother and start a family. Prior to her starting work at the summer camp, she sent me a post about buying your wife mimosas on the weekends. I joked that she wasn't my wife yet and she responded, "Well then let's change that." She wanted to get married to me and had no plans to leave me before going off to camp. I had already been ring shopping with her 2 closest friends and had the proposal planned out. I was going to take her up in a hot air balloon and do a champagne toast mid-flight and propose. I even had a speech written. I just never pulled the trigger on the ring because I wanted to fix the intimacy issues before committing to marriage. Then comes the incident. After relocating back to our home state, she went off to work at the summer camp. The camp was 2 sessions, 4 weeks, then 3 weeks. I went to visit her during the 4-week period and spent the day/night with her at camp. I met all the new staff and I brought her flowers and cookie dough to apologize for putting up such a fight about visiting her. I was dreading making the 4-hour drive there and back the next day. I know I was wrong to put up a fight about visiting, and I admit that I was wrong in this regard. My birthday fell between the 2 camp sessions and she came home to spend the weekend with me and my family to celebrate. When she got home, she told me that she was unhappy. She had been talking with some of the older female camp staff about our relationship. She mentioned that we fight too much, and along with our lack of intimacy, she said we had too many issues. Unfortunately, we didn't have much time to discuss the specifics that were making her unhappy. We had birthday plans for dinner and plans with my family the rest of the weekend. I really wish we would have sat down and talked through the issues before this had happened. After my birthday weekend, she went back to camp for the last 3-week sessions. That is when I stopped getting texts back from her and she wouldn't take my calls often. She stopped saying "I love you," which was a huge alarm for me, as we would always say that back to each other often. When she finally did pick up the phone, she just told me that she was unhappy and that I should not propose to her. I desperately wanted to talk to her about it, and she said she didn't want to have this conversation over the phone. I freaked out and went and bought a temporary ring to show her I was committed to her and that I had already planned on proposing. I brought flowers and drove up to camp on that Sunday afternoon. When I got there, she was extremely angry with me. She told me it was disrespectful to show up there unannounced and that I was trespassing. I had been to camp multiple times before to visit, and there was no reason I wasn't allowed to be there. I told her I loved her and wanted the life together that we had planned. I tried to give her the flowers and she wouldn't accept them. I asked why she was unhappy and why she wouldn't accept the flowers. All she said was that she had feelings for someone else. This shocked me. We had been discussing marriage for years and I couldn't imagine her being open to wanting another person. I asked who it was because I had met all the adult male camp staff and had no idea who it could have been. She refused to tell me. I asked if we could speak in her room privately and she said, "I am just warning you, there are flowers in there from him." This hurt so badly. I told her she can't accept flowers from another man, that we are in a relationship and that is so wrong. All she did was nod. I asked if she had cheated on me and she said no. I never had any reason to not trust her before, so I believed her. At this point I was crying hysterically and talking in circles. I tried to give her the ring and tell her I had planned a proposal and she wouldn't accept it. I told her she was my whole world and that I was willing to make changes and work through any issue that was making her unhappy. She just acted so cold and wouldn't even talk to me about why she was unhappy. I told her it was late and that I had planned on staying the night and talking this through with her. There are more to come. Find out the update of this story, check our channel or the description. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for any future cheating stories.